The saga over Scott Morrison's appointment to multiple ministries continued into a ninth consecutive day today. And given the fact that the Prime Minister and Cabinet are committed to establishing an inquiry into the case now, it's got many more days, maybe even months to run. And while we'll unpack all of this shortly with political editor Andrew Clennell and hear from reporter Trudy McIntosh, just a couple of observations from me about today's release. What the former PM did was a complete and utter power trip, the actions of a control freak, for no benefit to anyone at all. Although it did give him the power to overturn a decision pending on an offshore gas project off the central coast of New South Wales. And while it wasn't illegal, nor, as we discovered from the Solicitor General's report today, nor was it even against government regulations to not make the appointments public, having established that, Anthony Albanese did make the case today for Scott Morrison to make one final apology.
Scott Morrison owes the Australian people an apology for undermining our parliamentary democracy system of government that we have. Something that can't be taken for granted. And it's one thing to see this as an issue between him and Josh Frydenberg or other individuals. He misses the point here completely.
I think he made that argument quite well. He's right. You simply don't act in that kind of cavalier fashion, using the Governor-General to shadow your ministerial colleagues and not say sorry to the public after you've said sorry to your colleagues. It's beyond what Australians would allow to remain secret, pandemic or no pandemic. As the Solicitor General put it today, it is inconsistent with responsible government. Now, even when Morrison released a long-winded response to the report late this afternoon, it was simply an exercise in self-validation, not an inkling of an apology to the public. Which is odd, given how powerful political mea culpas can be in diluting and reducing the severity of an issue. But the idea that we need an eminent legal mind, another one, like maybe a Solicitor General, to begin another inquiry into this is truly ridiculous. Don't get carried away with how seriously the Canberra Press Gallery treat this issue, how loud their questions sound, how eager they are to ask their questions. This is their bread and butter. They thrive on this kind of intrigue and especially the constitutional machinations. But this is not corruption. It's a secret that's even allowed to remain secret, as we discovered today. And by creating a rule that Anthony Albanese indicated he would, that enforces gazetted publication of any ministerial appointment, surely that is the end of the issue.
I want this to be a quite expeditious inquiry. I don't want this to drag on.
He doesn't want this to drag on. It's dragged on for 9 days. It's going to go for several months. What a strange thing to say when you've just announced another probe into what's happened. Labor is getting as much blood out of this stone as it can. To have another inquiry is political overkill. The case has exposed an anomaly, the most unbelievable of anomalies. That anomaly is in the process of being fixed already. But that didn't stop the Greens this afternoon going the whole hog on this case. They want a Royal Commission style investigation.
It's critical that we see this from the perspective of the attack on democracy that it was. And we need this inquiry to have the power to summons those documents, to compel the production of witnesses and ensure that the public and the Parliament gets to the bottom of this.
So they want another multi-million-dollar inquisition. And we can sure afford that, right? And another 3 or more years on the same case? What do they inhale in that party? Seriously. And the likes of the Deputy Prime Minister should stop beating this up as well, like he did today, calling for severe consequences.
Whatever the legality of this is, the political consequence of this should be severe.
And then he was asked after that, what do you mean? And he sort of went, He must have thought the term severe consequences sounded tough, even though he had no idea what severe consequences actually meant. There is nothing the Parliament can do to Scott Morrison, apart from maybe a point-scoring censure motion when the House next sits. You can bet that that will happen. The good people of Cook will have their say at the next election, if, of course, Morrison doesn't jump into a new private role and resign beforehand. As for an apology to the public from the former PM, he should. But we shouldn't hold our breath.